Hiya, and welcome back to Homecoming Morenatsu Revisited. The game that teaches us that Kyouji will never stop stressing us out, because apparently, I don't know, I think he just likes stressing us out. I don't know. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Just like your father. She trails off with a giggle before bringing her steaming mug to her lips. Glance over the rim of my own, blowing the steam trails away into the morning air. What do you mean? Your father picked up his father's habit of drinking tea black. I glanced down at the dark liquid, reflecting the infant rays of sunshine struggling to peek over the trees. Liquid patience for the businessman, it seems. Like father like son, eh? It was a tired old thing to say, but I always struggle to say nice things about Dad. Maybe the tea is why his fur hasn't turned from white to gray yet? Nah, best not to get into who my father is, or who he was once upon a time. You haven't told me what you're doing up so early. It's summer, you know. Yesterday at the game, my friend Kyouji got into an accident. Grandma fidgets in her chair, giving herself room to lean more towards me. The paperboy, Takahara? Yeah, I cradle the warm mug between my legs, freeing my hand to mime two objects colliding into each other and bouncing away. He ran into another player I'm friends with. They got hurt pretty bad. Goodness! I think he'd be staying home today if he was hurt. Well... I'm moving my mic forward. You would have thought he was dying with how much blood I ended up scrubbing out of my fur last night. First glimpse I saw of myself in the bathroom mirror was horrifying, seeing as how bright red tends to stand out harshly in white. The rusty brown stains around my collar lingered even after 3 times lathering up the area where I held Kyoji's head as he wept. I just hope he's pacing himself. I know he's not, though. I'm about to start breakfast, dear. If your friend has time, he's more than welcome to join us. I appreciate it, Grandma. I'm sure he will, too. I grasp her tiny, delicate fingers as she curls them over my shoulder. She offers one last warm smile before rising from her chair and stepping back into the house. I give my tea one more gentle puff of air across its rippling surface before I take a sip. It's 5 in the morning, so Kyouji could be here at any minute. And though I'm desperate to speak to him to make sure he's doing alright, I sure hope he called in sick at work today. He didn't. I forgot to mute my fucking phone. He really did. Psst. Hey! I feel the hand lightly shaking my shoulder, and for a second I think it's Grandma come back outside to call me in for breakfast. The figure in front of me is just a tad too tall and has a messenger bag slung about one shoulder. Kyouji! I say the name with an ounce of disbelief in my tone, betraying my nerves at addressing him so soon after yesterday's events. I've certainly never been anyone other than myself! You goddamn motherfucking liar. I apologize for waking you up, but it's about to get really hot out here. Might want to get back to bed. Now I'm gonna lick the inside of his mouth. Never mind that. I sniff loudly and force my eyes open, taking in the more graduated rays of sunlight as I force myself up to my feet. Are you alright? I tried to call you last night, but nobody picked up. Kyouji purses his lips and adjusts the straps on his shoulder bag, contents of which look slim. It was a tough game. He pauses for a moment and shrugs. I've been told to take losses a little too personally, and I need to work on that. I can't stop my eyes from narrowing to slits as I take in his casual tone. It's like the Kyouji I saw bleeding in the locker room yesterday was just simply someone else. Someone very different from the man in front of me. Kyouji, you smashed your nose up and kind of went crazy. I can understand if you feel a little self-conscious about it, but... The mask withers for a moment, a frown cracking up from the otherwise mannequin smile. It was just a minor fracture somewhere in my nose. The nurse got this bleeding to stop after a while. So it doesn't hurt? Again, that reassuring smile flashes. Nothing a mouthful of painkillers can't fix. Don't worry, Hiroyuki. The painkillers won't be able to stop me from punching you. Sorry, I should probably... He breaks eye contact with me as he rummages into his bag, pulling out a newspaper neatly wrapped in plastic protective from morning dew. I silently reach out and take the paper, not even glancing down to read the headline halfway visible under the wrap. This is my last stretch of houses, so I should probably get back to it. Kyouji, come on, wait a sec. Yes. Oh, fuck. Which is the one that, makes sure that we, get to see heartbreak, but a little less heartbreak? I don't know what the correct answer is. I don't know if I believe you. I don't know if I believe you. It's flavor text? Okay. Can I see you later or what you said yesterday? But if it's flavor text, then we're probably safe. I think the flavor's cheese. The next option, which matters, is August 23rd. Okay. We're gonna lick the cheese. Can we just maybe hang out later? Maybe when you're done. Grandma has breakfast going. Kyouji purses his lips and gives a slow shake of his head, silently cutting my offer off. I'm afraid not. After this, I got some stuff I have to take care of with Mr. Aichi. Lots and lots of writing to be done. I glanced down at my hands as if the answer was somehow going to pop out of my palms. I'm really starting to feel like I'm being melodramatic, as if I made up the shouting from yesterday in my head. I guess if you're busy. I glanced back up, but only catching his gaze for a moment before dropping it back down to his shoes. Maybe I can just call you later then? Kyouji gives a half-hearted nod and a chuckle before turning on his heels and jogging away down the driveway. I'll see if I can make time. Don't worry so much, Hiroyuki. It's bad for you. Hey Siri, what is the best way to break someone's kneecaps? Fuck you, Siri. I'm gonna break his fucking kneecaps. So he can't run away anymore. So he can't run away from his problems anymore. I am going to break his fucking kneecaps. We're going to stop him from running away from his problems by making it so he literally can't run. I am going to break his fucking kneecaps. Yo, Shima and Takeshi speaking. Hey, Uncle Takeshi, it's me, Hiroyuki. Oh, hey, buddy, looking for Tora? Yeah, if he's up, it's kind of important. Just a sec, I'll slap him awake. Several minutes pass before I hear another voice again on the other side of the line. Minutes where I keep hearing Kyoji's words in my head. It's all I had. Hello? Yuki? The ice in my stomach melts away a bit as I hear the warm, sleepy voice. Hey! Now that I think about it, I doubt he has any ideas what took place yesterday. Did you hear about what happened at the game yesterday? I'm assuming Kyouji and Sotaro kicked ass and annihilated their opponents, right? Not really, no. Bullshit! Did we lose? Kyouji and Taro got hurt, so the coach had to pull them from the game. Hear plastic crinkling and the phone receiver scrape against something before Toriko responds. Dude, are they alright? What happened? I think so. They ran into each other. Kyouji took it pretty hard, though. I can imagine. Did you talk to them afterwards? I tried with Kyouji. I cut myself off, wondering just how much I can say without violating the trust of a friend. I'm worried, sure, but... He took it pretty hard. I didn't get a chance to check up on Taro. I see where you're going. So Taro's a bit of a hermit, but his mom should be coming into work today. I'll ask her how he's feeling for you. Could you? I really think they could use someone to talk to today or something. Actually, you know what? Tora's words melt into a loud yawn, and he must have dropped the receiver, judging from the crashing sound I hear coming from the speaker. Nah, come back here! Sorry about that. Anyway, if I were you, I'd go find Juuichi. I mean, he was at the game too yesterday, so he knows what happened. No, I mean, Soto's been hanging out with Juuichi when he's not with Shun. Said he was supposed to start lifting weights or something. Why? Wouldn't that just slow you down in soccer? Beats me, you can probably catch Juuichi right now if you jog from your place. He's always doing that manga protagonist thing. Wait, what? I can't help but giggle as I already know exactly what he's referring to. You know, walking around and doing the lone kung fu master thing, keeping the town safe from imaginary raiders and stuff. I have a much-needed laugh as I picture Juuichi in the leather vest and shoulder pads before thanking Toriko for help. Motherfuckers and Naruto! Wait, what? Yeah, my fucking mouse. You little shit! Fucking... I have a much-needed laugh as I picture Juuichi in a leather vest and shoulder pads before thanking Toriko for the tip. After hanging up, I let Grandma know where I was headed and that I'd be back soon. I am going to turn this mouse off and plug it in. Where's my fucking... You would think I'd have more Apple chargers in here, considering fucking phone, tablet, mouse. You'd think I'd have more, but I don't. I only have the two. Wait, no, my work charger, but that's for work. But the mouse is charging! After hanging up, I let Grandma know where I was headed and that I'd be back soon. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass to get working in Windows. Ugh. I arrived to an unexpected sight. What the heck? Doesn't that hurt? Juuichi leaps away from the tree he was attempting to yank out of the ground, as if I just caught him making out with it. Yeah. Yeah. They make more than just phones and laptops. They also make desktops. You kinda need a mouse with a desktop. Yeah, they make desktop. Yeah, they make mice. And I use an Apple mouse. It's actually really fucking cool. And it fits my hand really fucking well, actually. He stammers fast as he fistfully brushes out the fur on his shoulders, trying to clean away the dirt and dust. I was just training. It's nothing weird. I stand silent, glancing between him and the tree. I don't understand. Is this a judo thing? I read about it in a book once. Indian wrestlers do it. I cross the bit of distance between us, joining Juuichi in the shade from the morning sun. I spotted an oddly shaped dumbbell next to the tree, and I realized I must have interrupted a morning workout routine. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to, interrupt. Oh, it's on the bottom of the mouse. That's where the charging port still is. The charging port is still on the bottom of the mouse. Didn't mean to, interrupt. I suppose that might have looked odd to someone who didn't know any better. He recomposes himself, clearing his throat. Can I help you with something, Nishimura? I take a second to lean against Juichi's practice partner, taking care not to knock over the dumbbell. Did you happen to catch Kyouji after the game yesterday, or Sotaro? I was there with Tono until his mother came. Nurse didn't think he was concussed and he was speaking clearly. He was upset about the game, obviously. I'm asking because I don't know how I'm going to word this. On one hand, it could just be as Kyouji said this morning. He doesn't handle loss well. But this is Kyouji we're talking about. He's the most adult out of all of us. He's an adultier adult. Kyouji was really, really weird after the game yesterday. When I saw him this morning, I pause again and shake my head, the words sounding more and more childish as I give them voice. He just acted like it was no big deal. It was weird. Someone else finally noticed that too, huh? What do you mean? He cracks every now and again. He's done it ever since he was a child. What exactly am I sticking my nose into here? Like a breakdown? This is common? Juuichi inhales and glances up at the canopy of trees. He grunts slightly with the exhale, but doesn't look back down at me as he gives his explanation. Do you remember when we were children and you always hung around with Ushima and Kuri? Yeah. When we weren't all together, I'd spend time with Takahara. I tried out for the youth soccer team with him, as a matter of fact. Really? Were you a goalie back then? Yes. Couldn't keep up with the running, but I was decent guarding a net. I got to know Takahara pretty well. On weekends, I'd go to his house to kick around the ball with him. That's when I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. Kyouji and I were just 9 at the time, around 3rd grade. I remember hearing a shout from the road, an adult shouting. Kyouji was kicking a ball at his fence, and there were 2 sticks jammed into the ground. Boy! Hang on. Trying to figure out what voice I should give Osamu. Because I don't want to give him a silly voice, because this is actually very serious. This is actually super serious, so I'm trying to figure out what voice to give Osamu. Boy, didn't I just tell you? Kick with your goddamn instep! Yes! He just lobbed the ball at Kyouji, hit him in the head. He fell. Now get your ass up and actually try this time. Yes, sir. Corner! You know what? Kyouji shot the ball right. It just wasn't right enough. Do you want to just hand the ball to the goalie? You might as well. Kicking like that. Dad, my ear! You go get the damn ball and get back to work. I don't know how long I watched. Maybe an hour. Kyouji would miss and his dad would berate him. You must like seeing that little shitbird Toma take your spot. Huh? No, Are you sure? Are you really sure? Mr. Takahara went inside at some point and Kyouji stayed outside. He kept kicking the ball over and over again. Kyouji? I think he knew I'd been there for a while. He didn't say anything. He just cried. I didn't ask to play soccer with him again after that. I told my mom what happened and asked her if it would be okay to quit the team next week. Did she call the police or anything? No. It would have been my word alone against both Kyouji and his father's. Wait, Kyouji was okay with that? Juichi's frown deepens, his eyes trailing down to the ground. He loved his father just as much as he was terrified of him, and he wanted his father to love him as much in return. So he played. I jam my hands into my pockets and curl them into fists, trying to squash the guilt for the revelation I'm about to give voice to. He told me yesterday that he didn't want to play soccer, that he never did. Juuichi just nods, an understanding purse-lipped frown decorating his features. I'm not sure if he never wanted to play, but I'm not surprised that's the case now. Things are... Juuichi inhales and searches the ground for a prompt that just simply isn't there. Things are different now. He's the man of the household, and he's going to need the money a soccer scholarship would bring. I perk my ears at the title Juuichi just gave him. Man of the household? Wait a minute, what about Mr. Takahara? Is he not able to work? Juuichi looks up at me square in the eye. There is no intensity in his gaze, but rather a mix of anxiety and sadness that only bewilders me further. I shouldn't be the one to tell you about that. I'm sorry, Nishimura. His eyes drop away again as he settles his weight against another tree opposite to mine. I want to ask again, but the curiosity urging me to probe the bear for any details. But then I've never seen Juuichi without that intensity. That's twice now I've seen a side of my friends I would have never guessed existed. First Kyouji, and now Juuichi. I wonder what could be so horrible that would make him look like that. Tono isn't the only one dealing with money problems. Do you think you might see him today? No. The answer comes in a tone too soft not to question. I mean, Juuichi is normally soft-spoken, but this adds to my growing concern that a great many things have derailed lately. I called Tora earlier and asked about him. He said you two were close. I slip my hands back out of my pockets and hold them up, doing my best to convey, "Don't take this the wrong way." It sounds like he might have been wrong. Juuichi scrubs a hand across his muzzle, the thick and calloused pads dragging down and around to the back of his neck. Listen, don't say anything, alright? I'm not trying to pin anything about yesterday on Tono. But he did seem to take things into his own hands though, right, Juuichi? This is my fault. He wanted advice and I told him to be more aggressive. Could have known that they would wipe out like that. That's not on you. Juuichi sucks his teeth once and closes his eyes, letting his head fall back against the bark behind him. I had no business telling him anything. Soccer isn't judo. A heavy sigh follows and the bear seems to just lose himself somewhere in the clouds overhead. Don't say anything, Nishimura. I'll talk to him when I get the chance. What should I do about Kyouji? For only 6 words, the sentence seemed so heavy. Somewhere lost between the syllables, a thought rang out loud and clear. What am I going to do now that I know I might be talking to a mask? I don't know. I honestly doubt there's anything anyone could say to make him. Juuichi fumbles for the word, his fingers drumming impatiently on one bicep as he struggles to give shape to his thought. Relax. To live like a normal student. That's what normal people do, right? We could go somewhere and just be ourselves. Wouldn't you want that? And maybe something more? If someone who loved him like that couldn't get through... I dig the toe of one shoe into the dirt, wondering what someone like me could possibly say to Kyouji. Just quit soccer, you hate it after all, right? The grass is so much greener on my side. I don't have a hope in the world for higher education. For what it's worth, the soccer team is practice tomorrow. You don't think it would be awkward for me to show up out of the blue? Juuichi steps away from the tree he was resting against and crosses the distance to me. With a grunt, he leans down and seizes the dumbbell by its triangular handle with both hands. He might not show, but I think you'll appreciate the gesture. I would. With a nod to Couple's final words, I take the hint that our conversation is approaching its end. I push myself away from the tree and give Juuichi back his space, offering a smile and a small bow. I'm sorry I piled all this on you, by the way. I guess I'm just nervous. Every man is responsible for his own destiny. You can't change that, Nishimura. All you can do is try to catch them when they fall. Catch them when they fall, huh? Hate to think of what that might entail. Can I tell you a secret? I was praying for good luck in my next game. Well, I am bad at English, apparently, so I don't know. August 18th. You know, I would have assumed I'd love an empty bus now that I know what Osaka's transport is like. Just catch them when they fall. I think I'm starting to get the whole not wanting to be alone with my thoughts thing. I don't even know what I'm going to say to Kyouji, and that's if he's even going to be there. I mean, what could I say? A dad that's never around doesn't sound half as bad as the one Kyouji grew up with. I catch sight of the little wolf before he disappears into a seat a few rows ahead of me. He didn't see me, of course, given that his nose seems glued to the screen of some random gizmo. Ahem. Try to look as casual as possible as I stand for my seat, catching the driver's eye in his rear-view mirror for a moment. With a quick smile and wave to signal I'm switching my seat, he returns it half-heartedly with 2 fingers up from his own. Let me just... He doesn't turn to greet me as I sit down. I doubt anything else exists in his head beyond the game he's playing. I don't recognize it either. As I lean over the seat to watch the screen cradles in Shun's slender fingers, I see what looks to be a young girl in a green jacket throwing a roundhouse kick at some kind of shadow demon? The music seems pretty catchy too, judging from what I can make out from the tiny speakers. Is he playing Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion? I'm just kidding. Psst. The most I get as a response is a quick twitch of the left ear, the tip flicking rapidly twice before returning to a full upright position. What kind of crap is that? With a sudden jerk away from the screen, I see Shun's mouth curl into a smile. The girl on the screen seems to have fallen and isn't rising. I'm assuming he just ran into some kind of difficulty spike. Maybe turn down the difficulty? Wolf flings his handheld down to the seat and whirls around to look at me.
Oh, hey, Hero, I didn't see you on the way in.
Yeah. No kidding. I did say snarl. I did say snarl. At least I think I did. Fuck. Fuck. Damn it. The goddamn southern accent is showing. Let me just... Yeah, no kidding. I was hiding out in the back. Are you going to cause an artist shop or something?
I was gonna go by the school and watch Sotro practice and maybe convince him to let me take him out to get something to eat afterwards.
I'm heading there too, actually. I'm hoping I can convince Kyouji too.
Oh, did you see him yesterday morning after all?
I open my mouth to reply, but quickly snap it shut. I'm not exactly sure why I feel the need to drop my voice to a whisper, but I'm in no frame of mind to do otherwise. With a grunt, I settle in my seat and rest my head on the window where the sun warms my neck. Shun must have understood my body language as he leans it into his window as well. Something weird happened yesterday. When I saw him, it's like he did a complete reversal from the day before.
What do you mean? Did he talk about the game at all?
Not really. In the locker room, he was screaming. It was like he was having a breakdown. Bled all over me, too. I yanked down the collar of my shirt to show the still present rust-colored stains on my throat.
Wow.
And then yesterday, it's like nothing happened at all. I struggle for words to follow up with, but instead just clasp my hands together and give my best impression of Kyouji. I've been told I take losses a little too personally. With a quick nod at Shun's confused look, I clarify. I know I'm not so good at impressions, but that's basically what he said.
Maybe we should just leave it at that. I mean, there's bound to be way more college scouts looking out for Kyouji anyway, right?
Maybe. Once again, Juuichi's story flashes in my mind. I really don't think it's my place to share it.
Everyone is just taking everything way too seriously. We'll all go out for beef balls or something once. We'll all go out for beef balls or something once practice is over, and Sotro and Kyouji will be happy as ever.
The bus starts its engine and makes its way down the road.
Ah, cool. Hey, Hero, do you mind shaking me awake when you get there? I only had about 3 hours of sleep last night.
I pop one side of my brow up and eye the otherwise energetic little wolf.
Grinding.
Waves his hand held in one hand, the screen now powered down and reflecting sunlight from outside. I just nod once and smile as he pulls his hood up over his ears and leans into a seat. Whether or not he knows how serious this actually might be, it helps to know I won't be going in alone today. We have the tiny one on our side.
And they completely overhauled everything! People just assume it's a remaster, but it's a whole different game!
Uh-huh.
It might still have the same plot, but the mansion is all different and there's new stuff! Are you even listening?
Uh-huh. Shun sighs heavily and jams his hands into the pockets of his hoodie, falling in line behind me as we near the field. I can see the players darting back and forth just past the barrier of the bleachers, and I'm almost dreading the chance of seeing Kyouji among them. I still have no idea what to say. Honestly, it's not my place to tell Kyouji anything about his father and this thing he seems to be trapped in. And Shun isn't going to get it since it's not my place to tell him what Juuichi told me. If Kyouji turns me down after practice, you mind jumping in and convincing him to hang out with us?
Peer pressure is a dirty move, Hero. I like it.
I shrug and smile, stepping up onto the ramp to Kazunari High's courtyard. Considering you have to walk through the front courtyard to get to the path leading out to the soccer field, I'm secretly hoping Sayu will pop out from the main entrance and join us.
Do you think Miss Tachibana is here today?
I was wondering the same thing, actually. I smile back at the wolf as I gesture to the darkened windows, unable to resist the jab bubbling up in my mind. You've got a crush on the Queen of Kazunari High, eh? What?
I mean, who wouldn't?
His face shines scarlet red through his facial fur. I'm just teasing you. She seems like she'd know what to say in this situation, though, don't you think?
I just wanted to see if she'd like to hang out with us. Seriously, I think you're worrying too much.
We pause as we reach the fence line separating the school grounds and the sports field. I can actually see Taro now, locks from his mane blurring into a red flash as he dodges and weaves around a set of battered parking cones. A string of other players mimic his movements, each one following the same zigzag pattern around the cones. I don't see Kyouji anywhere.
Take a deep breath and relax. Come sit with me, okay?
I nod, keeping my eyes searching the field as I follow Shun. It could be that Kyouji just so happened to be taking a bathroom break right as we arrived. Hopefully. I'll be really upset if I came all the way out to Kazunari High just to find out that Kyouji called into practice sick. We both sit down on the first row bench, Shun fishing his handheld out of his pocket and booting it back up as he settles into his seat. What the fuck is that? I feel the urge to pull my phone from my pocket and check my emails, but I can't help watching the field for the player I know should be there. After a few minutes have passed, Taro catches sight of us. Brushing his wet bangs out of his eyes, he gives us a wave and signals to the other players the timeout hand sign. Shun's ears perk up and he slides the console back into his pocket, not bothering to even switch the screen off first. Practically bounces in his seat as Taro lightly jogs the distance from the midfield to the bleachers. Didn't expect to see you guys here today, what's up? He slings an arm up to rest his weight on the railing separating us, Shun leaning over to meet him halfway.
We happen to be in the neighborhood.
Sojo gives a lopsided smile and nods incredulously. Uh-huh, you want to join the soccer team after all?
Nice try.
I step up from my seat and lean up next to Shun, giving the lion a wink. Hey, is everything alright today? See the smile falter for a second and his eyes dart away from mine. It's almost as if he can see the picture flashing in my head as I look at him. Two boys diving for the same ball speeding away from them. Two bolts of lightning on a collision course. Things could be better, Mr. Nishimura. Did Kyouji not show up today? I asked the question with no hesitation, the suspense beating back any sense of tact in my head. Taro pushes away from the railing as if the question had stung him. He's here, somewhere. Is he acting weird? Taro scrubs a hand across his nose and looks up at me finally. There's the slightest hint of bags under his eyes, and I suddenly feel regretful for asking about Kyouji at all. I don't know. He hasn't said a word to me today.
Hey, listen, it's alright. Me and Hiroyuki want to take you guys to get something to eat after practice.
Taro shakes his head and takes a step back towards the field. I don't know what I'd say to Mr. Takahara anyway. I messed her feel bad. Thought I could maybe pull off a shot like he does.
It's not the end of the world, so it's just one game. Here, come on, back me up here.
I shrug and nod slowly to Shun's words, trying to push the mental image of a tall man in the shadows spitting curses at a familiar child. Pound Selector, was that a bug? Or is that the actual name of the track? Yeah, I'll talk to him. Oh, okay. You did good, Taro. You just... I pause and fumble for my words, earning a quick and expressionless glance from Shun for the hesitance. You were trying to prove yourself, right? The lion ducks his head quickly, his eyes following the tips of his shoes in the grass below as he fidgets. Yeah. He says it quickly, like a small child forced to admit a wrongdoing in front of their parent. A sniff and one bounce of the balls to his feet later, he turns sharply and gives us a half-hearted wave. Give me just a bit, guys, we're almost done. The other players on the field seem to perk up as they catch sight of Taro returning to the field. With a quick twirl of his index finger, the players drop what they're working on and file in a single line to the outside of the field. Taro is too far from us now to hear clearly what he is saying, but it quickly becomes evident that he's leading the team in a jog around the perimeter of the field. It had never occurred to me until just now that when Kyouji isn't around, Taro is in charge. It's difficult to believe at first, considering he hasn't been on the team for as long as the other players, and I don't see anyone else move quite like he did on the other day. On game day. Not even Kyoji's that fast. Ugh, so much for that. I sit back down heavily, the force jolting the wolf next to me.
Relax. Kyoji's probably just being mopey.
Here's the thing. At least he doesn't name his tracks fucking... You know what? Let me pull this shit up.
relax. Kyouji's probably just being mopey.
I've never been good with secrets, especially not with friends. The feeling that you know something about someone, especially if it's important, makes my brain itch. If only a glance could tell a story, like the one I'm giving Shun right now. Can I tell you something?
You know you can tell me anything.
He says it quickly, and the ghost of a smile turns the corners of his lips up enough to give me the push I need. Kyouji had this beaten into him. This whole soccer star thing. Shun's brow creases, but he holds my gaze nonetheless.
Practice makes perfect, right?
I ball a fist up and slam it down into my palm. His dad did this. Shun's lips part as a question forms on his tongue and dies.
I don't understand.
I stare hard back at Shun, steeling myself for the breakage of not only Juuichi's but Kyouji's trust as well. Damn it, Hiroyuki! Melancholic Superman. Oi! Everyone, bring it in! What's up with the captain? He's still in his normal clothes. Probably afraid he might get knocked up by Tono again. Hey man, that's so funny. Thought they killed each other the other day. Alright, everyone quiet down. I got some stuff I gotta run by you guys. Ahem. First off, I want to thank everyone for the good game you played against Seiritsu Gakuen. Me and Tono weren't there to see the last of it, and from what I heard, you guys played a hell of a game without us. Psst, he knows we lost, right? Dude, shut up! You guys showed real guts and marched out like the winners I knew you were supposed to be. We lost because of me! Captain! Quiet! We lost because of me! Because I was showboating, taking every shot, trying to get all the eyes on me! Dude, what's happening? And Tono here had every right to try and make a shot for himself. For the team. I don't know, man. I don't like where this is heading. That's why I decided I'm stepping down as captain of the Kazanari High Soccer Club. Starting today, your new captain will be Sotaro Tono! Captain, wait a minute. Is he seriously walking away from this? Mr. Takahara, you don't need to do this. What do I know about being a team leader? I was just showing off too. I'm sorry, Taro, but I'm not cut out for this. But you are! What the fuck? Now I regret giving him that voice. Shun's eyes seem to wander between invisible objects on the horizon as he takes in my words. His mouth opens and closes periodically before he commits to anything worth putting into words.
I didn't know. I wish he would have just said something. I know what it's like not being able to make your own choices.
I cock my head at the words but don't ask, instead hoping he'll elaborate. The only response I see is a slow opening and closing of his slender fingers in his lap, as if the slow and deliberate movements were a meditation of sorts. Captain, wait a minute! A voice rings out on the other side of the field and snares my attention away from the wolf. The first glance up shows me the figure I've been searching for all day bent over in a deep, apologetic bow. Kyouji sticks out like a sore thumb, a figure clad in white against a crowd of blue jerseys. Taro seems to be in shock, an arm extending out as if attempting to catch Kyouji in a fall that would never come.
What are they doing?
I think something bad just happened. Right as I finish my sentence, Kyouji rights himself up and turns on his heels, not offering a glance behind him as he marches off the field. I see a jerk of hesitance from Taro before he whirls around, shoving aside the other players and sprinting towards us. Mr. Nishimura, sir, please help! The quaking in his shouts has me on my feet in an instant, a motion I see mirrored in my peripheral from Shun. What happened? Mr. Takahara, he just quit the team, he won't listen to me!
Which way is he going?
Taro jabs a hand behind him at the gymnasium, his index finger forming a frantic mimicry of a pistol. Can you say something to Mr. Nishimura? I'm already vaulting over the railing as the lion attempts to lay out a plan, the shock of the landing almost tripping me as I scramble into a sprint. Oh, Kyouji! Kyouji, we need to talk! Wait, does he have his mask on? Oh, he doesn't? Don't. Please, Hiroyuki, just don't say anything. I stare at the crumpled jersey discarded on the floor, then back at the open locker in front of Kyouji. What am I supposed to think? What kind of overreaction is this? This isn't me being dramatic, I assure you. It's a wake-up call. There it is again, that smile, that mannequin smile I didn't know was a mask up until a few days ago. A wake-up call? I stamp my foot, suddenly furious at this false smile he's offering. The false comfort. Dude, these guys need you. You played your ass off all these years just to give up after one bad game. They've all been bad games. I just didn't realize it. The only one saying that is you. I'm sorry, but everyone is going to come to the same conclusion anyway. This isn't me. It's never been me. Sally was right. Pushed myself every day at this, and in the end I forgot who I was. Kyouji shoulders a worn green duffel bag and turns, staring me dead in the eyes. I don't even think you know who I am, Hiroyuki. I sure don't. He passes by me, taking a moment to politely avoid bumping my shoulder as he passes. I hear the scrape of his nails on the doorknob leading back out to the field before I begin to respond. Juuichi told me everything. He saw your dad hitting you, the bruises, everything. That's why he quit the elementary team back then. Look, I get it, okay? I get it. This wasn't your decision, and I fumbled trying to catch my breath as I realized a confrontation had stolen it from me. Maybe walking away feels good right now, but you can't just walk out on your team. You had one bad game and it wasn't even your fault. You don't get it. I whirl around, readying myself to shout. The quickening rise and fall of his shoulders is making me nervous, but the adrenaline coursing through guides my words. What's there to get that you're running away with your tail between your legs? Rushing this is not going to help. You don't know what it's like, Hiroyuki! Putting his entire weight behind him, he hurls a gym bag against the door in front of him and whirls on me. His hands outstretched and snare the collar of my shirt, and he's nearly pressing his snout against mine. I see his fangs bared as he shouts into my face. It's why you can just crawl through life without a care in the world, being more worried about having fun with your friends than about your future! The accusatory edge cuts deep, and I feel anger bubbling up rather than fear. I reach up and catch his wrists in my hands, ready to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm about to do something. You don't know me either. You haven't seen me in 5 years, and you assume I don't have problems? You're not special here. We all have things we don't like about ourselves. I stare him dead in the eye, ready to take whatever comes next after this. Please don't take it out on my friends! He pushes me with his legs, forcing me backwards until my back crashes into the lockers. My own grip on his wrists increases, and I'm almost ready to push him back before I see the tears. I can't be a burden on my mother anymore! I'm caught off guard with the choked out words. My grip on Kyoji's wrists relaxing just a bit. You complain about your father working all the time, being tired. Do you know where my father is, Hiroyuki? Do you? I don't respond, but I know he's about to tell me anyway. I'm too transfixed by the contortions in his face and the tears streaming freely, unashamedly from his eyes. He's rotting somewhere in a cell. And he's never coming back. Kyouji releases me as he spits out the last words of his sentence, a remorseful look on his face. That man left my mom to fend herself and 3 kids. His voice cracks at the last word, the anger giving way to grief I had no idea was present. She's been working 2 jobs back to back. No breaks, and what am I doing? He displays his hands out, motioning to the empty and dark locker room. I'm betting it all on some stupid game. One. Kyouji pauses to draw in a shaky breath, letting his arms fall back down heavily to his sides. A single bad game can decide if it was worth anything at all. I should be committing my time to working. Taking the burden off Mom. Takes a few slow steps to the entrance of the building, reaching down to snare the duffel bag straps with one fingertip. Being the big brother my siblings can depend on. Kyouji, don't throw this all away now. You've come too far. This doesn't define you. I gotta go. I have to figure out how to tell Mom I'm giving up on college. Be safe on the way home, Hiroyuki.
Kyouji!
Mr. Takahara! He doesn't stop. He continues on without even acknowledging the two.
Now we know you can hear us. What's the deal?
I step out of the building, not even bothering trying to keep up with him.
Hiro, what happened in there?
Let's go home, guys. The wolf sprints around the ramp to cut me off, Taro coming up from behind.
Now, hold on a minute. What did Kyouji say?
Take a deep breath to regain some composure. I can suddenly feel where strands of my fur were yanked out from under my collar where Kyouji had grabbed me. The adrenaline is quickly fading from my system now that I'm in an open area surrounded by stable people. I can feel the tears running down my cheek fur.
Hiro?
I clap my hands over my eyes, and it only takes a second for me to feel Shun's hand lightly circle my shoulders. He holds me softly and whispers as I choke on Eric and barely suck in.
It's alright. We'll just go home. I'm sorry.
Shun leans across my left shoulder and waves lightly at Taro, throwing the I'll call you sign with his thumb and index finger. I'm sorry, Mr. Nishimura. Be safe going home. Shun and I ride back on the mostly empty bus home in complete silence. I dare not tell him about the shouting match between Kyouji and myself. I don't want to believe it was real. I don't recognize this new Kyouji from the one I thought I knew as a child. The Superboy, the guy who could do no wrong, straight A's and trophies, wings where his feet should be. Everything on the surface is chipped away. And underneath, with some effort, I managed to steer myself away from what I saw today. I settle into my seat and watch the young girl in Shun's video game beat back the shadows. She flies at them unflinchingly, a confident smile on her face. I wonder what she's hiding behind it. August 19th. We're gonna leave off here tonight. Stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.